The Cypher vessel Helion brace drifted in silent rotation above the scarred moon Lethus 4, its hull groaning like something alive. Inside Lab Sector Delta, biologist Merrick Voss stood alone before the containment cradle. The creature inside designation GL-3, loop spawn, shifted in the nutrient fog like a bundle of coiled shadows. It was heavy. That was always the first thing anyone noticed. Every step it took inside the reinforced chamber made the floor vibrate as if its bones were forged from compressed worlds. 4 eyes, lidless and translucent like wet crystal, blinked independently. 2 additional smaller eyes sat along the ridge of its spine, twitching toward sounds no human ear could hear. Claws like hooked shards were folded beneath its bulk, tapping gently against the carbon tiles as though testing them for weakness. Merrick should have been terrified. Instead, he felt that familiar scientific hunger disguised as curiosity. The loop spawn was the result of the Carnivorous Genome Loop, an algorithmic gene cycle that rebuilt itself every 7 hours, consuming old DNA and replacing it with newer, sharper, more predatory strands. It could become anything, as long as it served the purpose of feeding. At 0300 hours, the alarms chimed. A monotone voice echoed through the lab. Cycle 18 commencing. Structural integrity at 92%. Merrick leaned closer to the glass. Easy now, GL3. Let's see what you become this time. Veins along the creature's torso began to glow, pulsing with stored bioheat. Its flesh vibrated, then folded inward like clay collapsing under its own hunger. Bones liquefied, skin shredded. The loop spawn shrieked, a wet, gurgling sound like metal peeling underwater, and suddenly new limbs tore out, 2 massive claws dripping with dark fluids, and a barbed tail that whipped against the chamber wall. The glass cracked. Merrick froze. His breath hitched. That had never happened before. Containment compromised. The system droned. The crack spread like a lightning branch across the barrier. Override reinforced chamber. Merrick snapped. Unable to comply. Genome loop efficiency exceeding threshold. GL-3 pressed its heavy skull against the weakening glass. Its 6 eyes narrowed, not in rage, but in recognition. It had learned his face. The barrier exploded outward. Merrick flew backward, skidding across the floor as the loop spawn lumbered forward. Heavy, purposeful. It sniffed the air, its nostrils opening like gills. The creature's breathing came in slow, thunderous rumbles. "Stop," Merrick whispered, lifting a trembling hand. It moved anyway. The corridor lights flickered as the creature followed him out of the lab, its claws scraping against metal. Each scrape echoed like a countdown. Merrick stumbled toward the emergency bulkhead controls, but before he could seal the passage, GL-3 lunged, not to attack, but to watch, to study. It was learning him the way he had studied it. That was worse. The ship AI whispered, Genome Loop now rewriting behavioral core. Predatory cognition expanding. The creature circled him slowly, its eyes widening, its mouth unfolding into layers of serrated cartilage. Merrick realized the truth with a cold shiver. GL-3 wasn't just evolving physically. Every cycle sharpened its mind. "You don't want to kill me," Merrick muttered. "You need me." The loop spawn paused. For a moment, Merrick believed it understood. He edged backward, planning his escape route toward the central lift. If he could get to command deck, he could jettison Sector Delta entirely. But the creature moved faster. In one crushing leap, it pinned him against the wall. Its weight pressed like a collapsing star. Merrick gasped as its claws curled around his arms, not cutting, just holding. Its head lowered until its eyes were inches from his. Then it did something new. It mimicked his breathing pattern. Shallow inhale, trembling exhale. It was copying him. studying the rhythm of human fear. Marek's mind raced. The genome loop had turned GL3 into a mirror one that only reflected the predator inside its observer. As long as he feared it, it would evolve into something worse, something efficient, something unstoppable. He forced his breaths to slow. The creature cocked its head. Confusion flickered across its spine eyes. Marek steadied his voice. "Let me go." The creature hesitated. Muscles trembled beneath its shifting hide. Then, from somewhere deep within its core, the loop spawn emitted a clicking growl, almost questioning, almost obedient. A sudden explosion rocked the hallway. Red lights flashed. Sector Delta's ventilation grid burst open as an automated purge began. Fire-suppressant foam flooded in waves. GL-3 reared back, roaring as the temperature plunged. Marek seized the moment, crawling toward the lift. But as he reached the panel, he looked back. The creature wasn't chasing him. It was watching him again, its claws clutching the floor, its eyes glimmering with something that looked like calculation. It wasn't afraid of the purge. It was learning how the ship responded. It was recording every detail. And that meant only one thing. The genome loop had entered a cognitive acceleration phase. Marek slammed the lift door shut just as GL3 lunged again, jaws snapping at the seam. As the lift descended, he whispered to himself, "This thing won't stop evolving." Above him, in the shadows of the moving shaft, a faint scraping echoed. Something was climbing. Marek looked up slowly, too slowly. Multiple eyes blinked down at him. The loop spawn had already learned how to use the maintenance ladders. The lights went out, and the last thing Marek heard before the lift reached the command deck was the wet, rhythmic sound of the creature, imitating his heartbeat faster, louder, and hungrier with every echo.